Overseer's Log 15.5. Hello, Vault Dwellers and Wastelanders. My name is Kyle, and on this week's episode, we're taking a little bit of a tour and a deviation from our usual. Now, these episodes are primarily a companion episode that goes along with our TTRPG series, Tales from Tomorrow, our actual play that we live stream over on Twitch and syndicate up to YouTube. This week's a bit different because, well, first of all, we had a recap episode, but there's a lot of new stuff to tease and toy with all of you today. Firstly, new software. I'm sure you can see it in the overlay. Look, this guy's got his Pip-Boy on and everything. I'm vault-tec ready. But Pip-Boy, we got the overlay going. This is gorgeous. I am changing up the software. For a long time, I've used OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's free. It's pretty much the default for anyone live streaming on Twitch or YouTube, the rest. But I decided to finally go with a software that's primarily for my Mac. That's where I do most of my creative work. And this thing is lovely. I was most motivated to make the changeover because with our new podcast series, Vault Broadcast, we're doing a lot of interviews. And I wanted a way to nicely record people instead of them joining into Discord calls and me trying to screen cap their window on my screen. It gets a little messy. This one, Ecamm Live, gives us a link that we can send out to have guests come by. And it was just a total luck out that when I was previewing the software, I noticed that they only let you do 20 hours of recordings per month. That breaks down to, if we're only doing Vault Broadcast, that would be about 2.5 shows a week. That doesn't even include the 3-hour TTRPGs that we do and such. However, at the time I was trialing it, I decided to write and say, well, how much extra would it be to give us more interview time? And they said that the cap was coming off. And indeed it has. Indeed, there's no cap to it. So it was just a natural clicking of things into place. The stars aligned. And it took me almost no time to bring these scenes over. Things that had been really hard to craft over in OBS just because it's an open source software. It's free. It has really powerful tools, but not very seamless user interface. And as an ADHD guy, that is enough to make me not do work at all at times. This, however, just being so plug and play and clickable, I know there are some things that this doesn't allow me to do, but there's so much more that it does allow me to do. One of them, I don't know if I can show this off. I haven't even tested it ahead of time. It's probably going to actually break our background video, but let's see. We're going to go over to this one. This is a holdover from Vault Broadcast. Yeah, you can see I was working over here on our Support Our Show. There's going to be some changes coming to coffee, but you can see below me, I don't know if it actually will show the outline in the final, but there's little guest spots that are plugged in there. I'm going to go, this one would be one that Dark Knight and I could use. We're co-hosting the show. And yes, you could build out all this in OBS, but it is a little hard. Sorry, this thing's redoing our intro music there just because today I'm toying with that. I'm trying to figure out how to avoid editing this podcast in particular. I would prefer not to edit my works. If I could just sit here and spew all this information really quickly and effectively and somewhat organized, I'd rather not go into Final Cut and get myself lost in the editing mix. So anyway, we've got this gorgeous new piece of software that I'm happy to rave about in the future. We have a really exciting opportunity to move our physical studio into a real studio, I should say. I had a housing emergency earlier this year. I've been staying with friends, and as we're trying to branch out our shows, we need more time to record. And I don't want to be cutting into other people's schedules. So as gorgeous of a backdrop as we have here, let me show you something on the side, hopefully with just this press of a button. Bada bing, bada boom. This is the first studio space I have toured in my town. And I gotta tell you, I fell in love with it right away. The real estate agent that I was talking to mentioned how difficult, and I believe him, how difficult it's going to be to find a place that has good sound. Most rentable commercial spaces are for banks or other things where you would expect some noise. But as a podcaster, you want to cut down on as much as that as possible. I mean, we've got some dogs here who bark on occasion, love them all to death, but like dogs are going to do what they got to do. And, you know, some places you have car traffic and the rest. This studio was just so neat. It is in a sort of sequestered part of a building. It doesn't have any option for foot traffic for like outside business people to be walking through. Just absolutely lovely. The shot that we're seeing up here, pardon me as I look away from the camera, but the shot we're seeing up here This is what would be the office inside the office. There's sort of like an executive, maybe you could imagine someone's mahogany desk. I don't know if the cursor is showing. There we go. You could imagine some mahogany desk being placed like here, and then this little bit of a countertop. I didn't take a good picture of it, but there's sort of like a backdrop-y sort of cabinets and cupboards and all that. Nice closets here next to it that could be used for studio lighting and other setups. Looks like there was some sort of TV mount. The place has a ton of Ethernet ports around it, which is amazing for a guy like me who's constantly, having to move his setup and do things like that. Like, that would just be fantastic to have that all hooked up and easy to do. My gosh, I can't even really take that into account yet, my brain. This one, let's see, we just switched angles here a little bit. By the way, this would be the entrance to the office over here. You can actually come in from the outside, and then there's this door into it, but that's just staff entrance back there. So very minimal foot traffic. You can see it's even got a little kitchenette there with a sink. It's got the cupboards. It's got a spot for a mini fridge. It's got a bathroom in it. How cool, right? There's a kind of a broom closet sort of thing here. I don't know if we're going to see it. It's too dark to see, but this is a pretty substantial storage closet. This here, I don't know if you can actually make that out. I'm pretty sure these are the shelves that are on this wall itself. It to my knowledge, I looked at it super quickly, and I think someone else was already the guy showing it was sort of stepped into it. So I didn't really go into there with them, but I'm pretty sure it's substantially deep. Really nice. Looks wide enough to, I don't know, at least fit you could almost do a twin size bed to give you kind of an idea, maybe a little bit more, but really fantastic. There's another picture of the kitchenette. And what do we got here? This is another, this is from the entrance to it. So you can actually see my reflection back here, that this was the outside behind us. We're just standing in the doorway here and looking in, and you can see how much space. This was where we were saying the mahogany desk would be. And I'm not that kind of guy. I just want to warn, I'm using that as the painted imagery that was in my mind. Nice big overseer desk in there or something, right? But I have the idea that this looks like a perfect corner for D&D table stuff. Just saying, if we want to do some IRL TTRPGs in the future, how cool would that be? And I think that's all I've pulled up here for these pictures today. So I'll just go back to this one and say, this is going to be my massive positioning for this year. We've got so many shows under our belt right now, and I'm going to try and recap them just briefly so you all know where we stand with this. We do the 3-hour-a-week Tales from Tomorrow TTRPG series. In addition to that, we afterwards record the 20-minute case review that's for our paid members. That's the players decompressing after the session. We have the 30-ish minute overseer log that I do every week. That's sort of, this is still intended to be the dev diary or the GM diary about Tales from Tomorrow. But seriously, with all this stuff going on in life, this is just a perfect place to document it and have it. And Tales from Tomorrow is sort of that's what's incubated all of this. So, okay, you just right there, 3 different projects that are going on at once. The TTRPG, the after show, and the overseer log to go with it. Then we also have the summer campaign series. These are semi-temporary secondary campaigns. They're going to be a little shorter 3-shots, and we're going to start those in July, but that's 3 hours in additional content every Saturday. That's amazing. Then on our second channel, Overseer Kyle, I do a weekly prop unboxing, and I gotta tell you, this setup, it was just so perfect for that prop unboxing because I was able to get my other camera above this and just do a wonderful side-by-side. You should go check that out. Go to the Overseer Kyle YouTube channel. It is of the vault-tec welcome kit. That was just so fun to record. It came out so nice. So happy with it. I even watched it back today, days later, on my big TV, and I was blown away by the quality of it. It was fun to produce. It was fun to get up there. So give that a like, give it a comment. Same with this video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Those seriously help us so much, but I'm going to try not to rant about that right now. Just to say, back on track, that the Overseer Kyle YouTube channel is doing a weekly prop unboxing, and that's going to be the place that we host our 2 Vault broadcast episodes that I am aiming for every week. That will be interviews with prop creators, storytellers, event planners in the Fallout community, all coming together and just doing these wonderful sort of 2-on-1 interviews. They might bring by some friends and co-voice actors and stuff like that eventually. I just got to say, our very first interview for Vault Broadcast was amazing. We had Edward, aka Grim Grinner of Welcome to the Waste, on the show. Fantastic interview. Such a fun, kind, amazing guest. It just put me on cloud 9 for this series. I cannot wait to bring you more. We were going to have a second recording last week. Marty, a prop maker, he was going to come by, but was an absolute champ because we had tech issues. It was my fault. Sorry, Marty. I figured it out. I had sent the wrong interview link. This new program lets you create different interview links per show, which is wonderful. And so I decided to make a formal one for Vault Broadcast. And I had sent him the interview link for the previous thing. And so sorry to Marty. I wasted your IRL time, and I feel very guilty about that because I know our lives are very short and time is precious. So to Marty, thank you for being willing to come back on the show. Again, he was an absolute champ about it. He just no sweat off his back. But we were trying to figure it out for a while, and it was so over my head. And then once we we're done with that window, I took the time, figured all that out, and it will not be a problem again because it was such an easy fix. It was just a total newbie first-time mistake. So Marty will be back. I think we actually have already 3 interviews lined up for this next week. Oops. I got to figure out a little bit new software for that scheduling portion. I love Notion, as many of you know, but Notion, they've built a calendar and they have a scheduling tool. It is not wonderful, though. It does not let you block out certain back-to-back windows. So right now, my guests can schedule back-to-back to the minute. And they don't know that, of course. It doesn't tell them that. So that's problematic. We might be shifting over to Google's free version of it because they allow you to do a 30-minute time break in between or something. Or even better, I like to set it, I think I'm giving people like 3 to 4 hour slots they can choose from in there, like a 45-minute interview, but you can choose within a 4-hour window. And I can just tell it effectively, like, give me a 4-hour break between them, so it'll push people over to the next day. If that doesn't make sense through words, but it's a simple calendaring thing, but it's glitchy. But this is maybe useful to other people out there. I'm all about sending out calendaring links and making this stuff as easy for myself and others as possible. Gone are the days of us sitting there and being like, well, does 2 p.m. work? Does this work? Does that work? I mean, the fact that Google rolled this out to their calendars, I don't know when they did it, but it's new to me. I just decided I would try Notions because why not keep the ecosystem a little bit tighter? Well, I found my answer. So I did send that to their support team and tell them, like, great that you guys are doing this, but I think if you want to be taken very seriously as a calendaring app, you're going to have to prevent people from doing the accidental back-to-back booking. We don't want that. No one wants that. Okay, so we've talked about Ecamm. We've talked about the scheduling tool. We've talked about the studio. And now I should probably talk to you about how you can help us with some of these things. And I want to make it very clear before I talk any kind of financial support that you just listening to these episodes, watching them, and specifically giving a comment below, that is massive. That is huge. The algorithm cares. If a YouTube video does not get a lot of likes and comments in the first 2 hours, it de-escalates it down the list. So if you get the chance, if you see a notice from the Discord server or anything like that saying, hey, new episode, if you're one of those people that can scurry over, watch it a bit, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all the rest, comment below, that stuff matters, especially in the first 2 hours, especially in the first 2 hours. That's how YouTube decides whether it's going to send it out to more people or not. So just to be fair, again, this is, I guess you could call this begging and let it be, whatever, that's fine. But I'm saying this for all content creators. If you have people you love and you have time to support them and you specifically want to be part of that mission to help grow them, then getting in there quickly is the key. The other thing I would say, and I worry about this personally for every YouTube video I watch, like this is Kyle's creator brain interfacing with the average viewer brain. I'm always worried and clicking on someone else's video and not sitting there and watching it because I know YouTube also cares about watch time. So you know what I do sometimes, even if I don't have the time to watch it, is I just let my phone play it in the background knowing that I'm going to go back and watch it later. Because I don't want to hurt someone's good quality content in the algorithm. just because the algorithm is a capitalist beast that doesn't care who you are, just instead wants to maximize ad revenue, right? Blech. So you can help us beat the algorithm back into its hole, like kicking the enclave out, by just liking the videos, commenting, and the rest. But I'll try and avoid that rambling. Go on to the next thing. Can I pull this up? I think I actually can. Yeah, we saw it on the other screen here. How did I? Oh, well, we're going to do this button. And then we're going to switch it to the other screen. Whop. Okay, there we go. We are good. Support our shows. So this is the page that's coming together up on our Notion site. I am really excited. Was working on this yesterday. I don't know if that's going to be very zoomed in for you guys, though. Bah, humbug. I'll just pull myself full screen and say, we're working on a couple new tiers for the coffee page. Coffee's like Patreon, but with more options. I'm a much bigger fan because people can choose to do monthly subscriptions, which we're going to tell you about, but people also can do one-off donations, which is fantastic. So the goal here is for us to be able to cover this potentially $1,000 a month in rent for this studio. We're trying to get that lowered substantially, but that was the number I was given first. And so that is the goal, what we're trying to hit. Again, with this studio, checking all of the boxes I was looking for and more, I don't want to let this pass us by. So we're going to do a $5 tier over on coffee. This is per month. We're calling that one at this time the Protectron tier. You will get your names included in the credits at the end of the episodes, and you'll have access to a subscriber-only Discord channel. If you become a Wastelander at $15 a month, you get all of that, plus early access to unlisted videos on YouTube. So before they go live to everyone, you'll have some access. And I will be full in admitting I am a little bit sloppy with that stuff. So this is going to be an attempt for me to overhaul my entire production lineup. And I'm getting a lot better with that. As I'm working on blog posts early and things, I think I can easily put them up to coffee too. I'm already getting myself better at that for the last couple months. And then the other really exciting one for the Wastelander tier is this is access to exclusive studio fireside chats. I'd like to get myself one of those retro electric fireplaces that has the little spinning lights and stuff. My grandparents had those when I was a kid. And I just really liked those. Thought they were, I don't know, they're cute. They're like 80s tacky or 70s tacky. I don't know what decade. Maybe they're even earlier, 50s, 60s. But they were very cute in a way, and very nostalgic for it. And I'd like to do an interview in front of a fireplace where we talk about the studio. And it's probably not just going to be sitting there, but walking around and showing things off. I want people to see what they're helping us build, because this isn't us thing. This studio might be for me to work in, but this is for us. This is to produce better content for you, faster, quicker, with more quality, with more mental bandwidth, with a little more professionalism. I think that just being in a studio will help my brain feel like it's doing work. When you're doing a home studio or a home office, it's exactly that. You're at home, so your brain is like half between, like, well, why don't we goof off today? And it can be a little bit hard. I'm not the first person to posit this idea. This even goes back to people saying, like, you shouldn't have a TV in your bedroom, or you shouldn't work on your laptop in bed. I'm really bad at that. Like, I just work, wherever. And they say that, makes it so that the place is seen in your brain as like a split use area. And there's interesting thoughts behind it. I do believe that. I think just on a habitual level, when we're at an office, it feels like work time, so we work. Let's go on though. The next tier up would be the Vault Dweller tier at $35 a month. This one brings it so your name is read aloud in the episode. So $5 a month, your name is mentioned in the credits visually. The $35 level, they get them read out loud. We're also giving people, this is the placeholder sort of, but we're calling it NPC naming rights comes along on the $35 tier. This is the tier for people who want to help build out our actual TTRPG Wasteland, all within the bounds of lore appropriateness. We're not going to take edgelord names, but if people want to come through and submit names for characters to pop up in the show, or name certain buildings in the show, that's something this tier is going to be a highlight for. And then the final tier we have outlined is the Overseer at $50 a month. It's a pricey one because quarterly we're aiming to send people goodies in the mail. I am envisioning stickers, potentially patches, magnets, I got these ideas of printing out some character sheets for NPCs in the game, people you might know, Mayor Smiles, Alfred, Lena, Tom, all the rest, and more, and send those out to people over time. So that's a physical goodie tier. And this is just an idea. If you have thoughts on this, you're welcome to comment below what tier might interest you, what might help beef up certain tiers. I found this to be a pretty good split, and I'm going to post this up on the website so people can see it more easily. I know it's a little difficult to see here. Actually, give me a moment. Can I zoom into this? Is that a thing I could do? Border width. How would one do that? I know how to zoom a camera in. I don't think I know how to do that. Oh well, we'll try it some other day. Zoom to app window, include desktop. No, I don't see it. Sorry, folks. Corner radius. Anyway, leaving it be. I would just like to show you this in better quality, but I am unable to. But I'm starting to fill out this page. Now, the biggest thing I wanted to tell people when it comes to this new coffee page is we're looking to do something physical to reward everybody who has been a part of it. Something physical in the studio. And maybe something physically mailed to people too. Actually, I have an idea of what I want to physically mail people. I think it'd be really cool to send out some Polaroids of the office. Tease. But what we're going to do is a founder's wall. Some sort of plaque, maybe one of those really classy, like painted chalkboards. We're going to include people's names on it. Anyone that was a coffee member, as we dinged $1,000 per month. Now, we're far from that goal. We're at $45 a month, which is a wonderful start, but we're far from the goal. If you become a member while we are at, or I should say, if you are a member when we hit $1,000 a month, your name gets immortalized in the studio. And that is just, again, the first of many sort of rewards. I want people to feel recognition. This is, again, a community project. People have been super kind and super loving to what we've been building here. The feedback has been phenomenal. My very favorite one that I received was someone saying, and I've said this a dozen times, but someone said, Kyle, every GM should do an overseer's log like you're doing to document the journey and the process. And so here we are. We're documenting the journey and the process of getting a studio, the process of expanding out, the process of trying something that I haven't done in years. I did go full-time in streaming back in 2020, and then COVID, well, actually it's before that, and then COVID came in 2020, and I stopped doing that, and I haven't really been back creating as hard the last couple years. But you all have made that possible, and I can't thank you enough for it. Well, the one way I can thank people for it is by doing more, doing better, doing authentic work. And if you see a little fly through here, here's another small problem, right? The fly that came in today says, you need a new studio, Kyle. It says you need one that doesn't have a fly in front of the camera. He's being a pain in my butt. But anyway, we're going to come out with a full Substack post about this office, showing off these pictures. And I'm going to start working very hard on the coffee page. It is under construction right now. It's in development. I have set up the tiers. I'm about to do more. If you have ideas of things that we might be able to do to entice you more, let me know. I'm not adverse to adding perks to tiers. I just wanted to come up with a list that was concise, that was interesting, that would be things I would personally be really inclined to do. And I think a quarterly mailer, like a package you get in the mail, an envelope package you get in the mail, I think that would just be super duper cool. And if we find other things we can brand upon, I would be super into that in the past. I did work on a project with a friend years ago where we were actually making homemade soap and sending that out to people that subscribed to our tiers. It was very fun. We were doing like a home crafting kind of thing. It was just an absolute blast. Taught me a lot of practical skills in the process, but it was just a great time to be sending that out. My friend also made candles and did similar things. So I know how fun that process can be, both as the creator making it and the person who is supporting and receives something made with that passion. It's truly a communal effort in that way. So I want to thank you again for that. And I should always tease out here, I do it enough, but I should do it now in this episode and say, if you want to get cool things from the Bethesda shop, like this Pip-Boy Engage. I was pressing the wrong button. Earlier today, I looked at it and had a weird screen effect going on, so I don't know what that meant. But anyway, I was just pressing the wrong button now. If you want to get something like the Pip-Boy off of the Bethesda website, you can use the code BTales31, 32, and it might go up to BTales 33 and 34 next week. So just keep that in mind. They're constantly escalating their 1 week uses. So use them if you got them. There's some cool stuff up there, but not too much new. I've got some more prop videos to pump out this next week. I do believe the prop videos on Overseer Kyle's channel are going to move to Saturdays. I've got a whole new schedule layout as well, and I want to try and run it down with you if I can do it from memory. Note that the schedule is going to shift a bit as the summer campaign series come and go, but here's the rough rundown where you get almost a piece of content every day. Mondays, summer campaign series. Right now, they are audio-only podcasts. They will soon swap into full TTRPG content in July. That's Monday. Tuesday, Vault broadcast interview. Wednesday, the Fallout TTRPG that we do, Tales from Tomorrow, the syndicated episode will be on Wednesday. On Thursday, another Vault broadcast episode. On Fridays, I'm going to try and do the Overseer log. No, I screwed up because where's the case review? Case reviews were on Thursday. See, we're already. Maybe we'll say Overseer logs are on Friday. Case reviews, the bonus content on Fridays. And then we're back to doing the live stream of the Tales from Tomorrow show on Sunday. So we got a full schedule, and you can see why it slips through the cracks. You can see why I need to formulate it more. I mean, I think that is the justification of why we need more space for this, is I need more creative room to process and be able to do things on the fly. Because in addition to that, well worked out, in addition to this well orchestrated schedule that I have, and I have been matching it, I have been hitting those dates. In addition to it, there's TikTok videos, there's YouTube shorts, there's Instagram posts, and all that's sort of needed. I've got a post over on Reddit as well to get more eyeballs for it. So there's a lot, right? There's a lot of moving parts, and I am just in love with it. I'll be honest. If I didn't care, I wouldn't do it. I can't do things I'm not interested in. I just don't have that sort of bandwidth in my brain. So it's a project of love. It's a labor of love, because there's no way I would be able to pump out like 6 days of original content each week, 7 if you include that there's a live stream going on for at least one of those days. But as you've probably, for people who've listened for a while, the schedule has shifted, and I apologize for it moving a billion times. This is why I need some stability in my life. That's why I am coming to you and saying, if you can donate over on Ko-fi, it would be amazing. We're going to put the link below. It is ko-fi.com/overseer Kyle. Nice and simple, very easy. It matches the Twitch URL stuff, twitch.tv/overseer Kyle for the live shows. That's something that I would be able to do more of as well, is some live content in the future. I'm just right now politely dodging friends' schedules, trying to record in times that they're not home and not bothering them, etc. Right? We're just being good, amicable people. But as this project grows and blossoms into many more branches, I need some time. I need some space. I need some flexibility. I need some foundation that we can build upon. And I think this is only the beginning of it, gang. This is a great, great, great year to be branching out in the Fallout universe. It is a wonderful time because of the TV series. It's a wonderful time because of speculation of remasters. It's a wonderful time because the community has so many events going on. And it's a wonderful time because the audience, just for Fallout at large, is so animated right now. Like I said, Edward Grimgrinner from Welcome to the Waste, we had a blast on that Vault broadcast. And if that's going to be what we got going forward, it's just the sky's the limit. I think the last piece of cool tech I'm going to talk about here at the very end is one called VoiceCast. Now, I haven't used it enough to sing its praises to you all well enough. I don't think I could say, you need to go incorporate this into your show. But for my stuff, can I pull it up for you just so you can see it? Let's do this. Kyle's going to flop something on the fly here. Whoop, put this guy on. Okay, I'm learning. Here we go. So on the screen here, you have the Vault Broadcast voice submission form. This is how people can submit an audio message to the show. I think it says up to 5 minutes on there. And people can also type out one that it will read text-to-speech style. So if you're interested in submitting some thoughts to the show, things you want us to read out loud and comment upon, that is the way to do it. And guess what? There's one here for... do I have one for Overseer logs? I very well might. I shouldn't go back a page because let's do this first. Just so I'm not like revealing anything secret. I don't have one set up for Overseer log yet. If people want to write into this show, I can make one. But I've got one for Vault Broadcast. I've got one for Tales from Tomorrow. And I've got one for the Overseer Kyle channel. So there's one set up for each. The link to this is voiceline.app/Vault Broadcast. So we'll make sure to have those linked in descriptions for people. I would love it if people send in their thoughts, ask questions, and if they want to do some skits ever, I would love to include any little audio drama skits. But if you're someone that wants to do that in a more serious way, you could always we could figure out a way you could drop them to me in like Google Drive or something like that, something a little easier than just doing a submission form here. But this is cool. I'm really excited to kick off with that and begin with it. It'll get out there more as we send the show out more. We're going to look to have our first launch of Vault Broadcast next week. So expect some episodes. What's this? 7th of June right now. So 8th. Probably the 10th of June might be the very first episode of Vault Broadcast you see. And then we're going to be busy recording many others. So I'm going to leave this episode here. I have rambled for a long time, 30 some minutes, it seems. You all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you for bearing with me as these thoughts are literally churning in my head as I talk to you about them. I did have a little bit of a list today, but still, I mean, there's just so much going on, like me trying to recite to you the weekly schedule, but you can see how many parts there are. And this is why we need your help. ko-fi.com/Overseer Kyle is the link to that. We'll have that linked in the description below as well. Appreciate everything you do, and honestly, sharing out the show, telling friends about it is amazing. That is a crucial part of growing a podcast. So seriously, please, someone out there, only donate if you can donate. Times are tough in the world. But do feel free to share it around. Do the free stuff. Send someone a link. Post it in a Discord server that allows you to share stuff and welcome stuff like that. You know, we want to have a lot of these other creators on the show to join us too. So if you got favorite creators, always tag them below. We'll get in touch with them. Until next time, Wastelanders and Vault Dwellers, you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.